Hey y'all, it's your girl, the Evelyn Chanel. If you are watching this, then I assume that you have watched the last part. If not, then you need to watch the first part before you watch this part, because that's just how parts work, and you probably won't understand what's going on. So pause and go watch the first part, and then come back and watch this part. Alright, like I said, the same way the first part of this video was a serious matter, this is also a serious matter. Just because I am grown does not make it okay. Like I said, this happened this week, and for me it ripped a lot of bandages off. And yeah, so like I said, disclaimer, I am not going to say the person's name, but I am not going to try to hide their identity further than not saying their names. Two, do not, if you know who I'm talking about, do not hop in my inbox and try to threaten me any shape, way, or form, because I got a parent. You get what I'm saying? I got a mama and I got daddies. You get what I'm saying? I got a family. And with this situation, I would not hesitate. to let them loose. You get what I'm saying? Because for many years, many times, I shut my mouth. And today, I'm not doing it no more. You get what I'm saying? I'm not doing that no more. People will not continue to hurt me and mess me up, and I'm just gonna take it. I'm not doing it no more, okay? So if you know who this person is, you just know who this person is. And my best bet to tell you is to just keep your girls away from him, okay? Keep them away. Let me tell you something. Men can be horrible sometimes. There is no reason that I should have to filter myself or not be who I am because of what somebody else may think. You know what I'm saying? I am a very friendly person. I am very loving. I like to joke. I like to smile. I like to laugh. And it doesn't make sense that as a woman, I can't do that without somebody assuming, or not even assuming, but somebody taking that as enough initiative as them to try whatever they want to try. No means no. If I'm disengaged with the conversation, that means no. If a woman does not, I don't care how many people that you know, she could be a prostitute. If she says no to you, that means no. And if you take advantage of her, this is a video about awareness, and I want to make sure to get my point across. I want to make sure to get my story across. And I don't want to jeopardize it. So I'm going to filter as much as I can, as much as I need to, in order to get this video out. Like I said, I'm not going to say this person's name. But if you know, you know. We're gonna call this person boss, because this person is one of my old managers. We're gonna call this person boss. So not the last video, but the video before that, I told y'all that I was going through a lot. And I had been going through that, a bunch of stuff, for maybe a month or so. Around about a month ago, a month and a half, something like that, boss lost his wife. His wife passed away. When it initially happened, I didn't really go check on him. You know, I hadn't really talked to him because I had a lot on my plate, not to be selfish, but you can't be there for other people when you're not there for yourself. So let's just leave it at that. So Tuesday, today is the 6th of March. Tuesday, I decided, I had been thinking about it, that I need to go, just go visit him, whatever like that. So Tuesday, when I got off, I went to the store and got him some balloons and a teddy bear and just a card, and then I got some juice and stuff like that, just some candy, just something small, because I knew I didn't have much, but I didn't want to go empty-handed. I went to the store, picked this stuff up, and then I took it out there. My initial plan was to just take it, give it to him, and leave. I got there, and I knocked on the door. He was surprised to see me, and I was just like, I know it's not much, but I just want you to know that I was thinking about you, and I've been praying. I've been praying for you, and just trying to be a decent human being. My ex looks to this man as another father figure, and like I said, that's my old boss. I don't look at him more than just a older man that I had respect for. So let's just be clear about that. That's all. You know what I'm saying? My ex literally looks at you as a father figure. So there is no reason for me to be looking at you any other way than a older, older guy that you have respect for. That's it. That's all. So I go, and he asks about him, and I tell him my side of what happened, and he's just like, oh no, I just need to sit down and talk to both of y'all at the same time, and all this other stuff. In the middle of that conversation, he was like, you ain't talked to me in a while, you ain't called me and checked me, and I was like, well, I don't have your number. Or I give him my number, I run to get my phone or whatever like that. And so I come back, and we continue talking. And he's like, well, why don't you sit down? And I'm like, well, I left my car running. Why you ain't sitting there when I went to go grab my phone? And he was like, well, I ain't know you left your car running. And so I run outside and I go, cut my car off. Because I'm just in my head, I'm just like, well, maybe he just need company or whatever like that. Maybe the best thing I can do is just let him talk. That's what I'm thinking. And so we end up, sitting down, and we end up watching the movie together. And, throughout the conversation, he just making little remarks. I was sitting like in a recliner, and the recliner is closest to the door. So I'm sitting like right at the recliner or whatever like that, and then there's a couch and a chair. And so at first he's sitting in the chair, and we're just talking, and, we watching the movie. And throughout the movie, we still talking. He asked me if I wanted a drink, and he offered me a wine cooler, but he was drinking something else, and I took the wine cooler, whatever like that, and we just talking. And he just kept making little slick remarks. I believe at one point he was just like, well, I'm gonna make sure I stay over here because I don't need to get too close to you. And he made a comment, and he was like, well, I ain't had nothing in the month, you ain't had nothing in the month. And pretty much was like, we could kill two birds with one stone. And each time he makes a comment like that, I just pretty much brush it off. And I'm like, the hell, or whatever like that. No, I'm good. I'm straight. And then he sits on the couch, and he's like, well, come sit over here by me. And I'm like, nah, I'm good right here. At one point, he gets up, and he like showing me how to operate the recliner. Now, keep in mind, this whole time I'm in my right mind. I'm only drinking a wine cooler, so it's just like, when he shows me the buttons on the recliner, he reclines the recliner all the way back. And instantly, I started freaking out because I'm thinking I'm finna fall, and he laughing. With the smart remarks, I didn't take him to heart because when I worked with him, he would make remarks, maybe not as extreme as the remarks that he was making when I was at his house. Keep in mind, I'm at his house. I didn't take anybody with me. In the time that we're watching the movie, his son comes home, and one of his other family members comes to visit him. We just talking in between that time, and at that time, 1 hour turned to 2 hours, 2 hours. You get what I'm saying? He wasn't drinking what I was drinking, and I believe what it was with me was when he was making those other comments, I was like, well, maybe he just, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he just drunk. You know what I'm saying? Continue to brush it off. The movie goes off, and he says something about his security cameras. I'm like, okay, well, let me see the camera or whatever. Like, or let me see the box. Let me set it up for you, because I'm resetting the password for him. And during the time that I had the cameras and stuff like in my lap and I have his phone, I'm still sitting in a recliner, but he gets even closer to me. I'm like getting uncomfortable, you know, but again, my dumb ass don't say nothing. I'm just continuing to go with the flow. And this is exactly why I talked to this lady that I know. I work with her, and I was telling her about it, and she has been through stuff like that before, so she knows. And she was asking me that I want to go to the police, and I'm just gonna stop right here and say the reason I am not going to the police is because I was in this man's house and I did not follow the warning signs. You get what I'm saying? And I just feel it's just so many different ways that they could turn it back on me, that I got enough trauma and I'm going through enough shit that I don't need to add that on to my plate. So no, I'm not going to police, but me making this video, I hope and I pray that one, he sees it and he stops, and two, that it saves somebody from being a victim to him. So like I said, I'm setting up the cameras, and I'm trying not to get worked up because I want to make sure I tell her everything in the order that it happened. I'm setting up the cameras for him, and I'm connecting them to the app, and basically all that happened was he got locked out of his account and he needed to change his password. So that's what I'm doing. And while I'm doing it, he is leaning over me, over my back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at one point he tries to kiss the back of my neck, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I move, and I'm like, nah, what is you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, chill out. He laughs it off. That's all. Like, all right, let me go ahead and wrap this up, and get up out of here. So he tries to do it again, and I'm like, bro, what is you doing? And so at this point, I'm trying not to just get up and abruptly go, because a part of me is like, this man might try to do something to me. I'm in his house, you know what I'm saying, and his son in the next room. Me, I'm trying, instead of just getting up and getting on down, I'm like, let me just be cool so I don't put myself in a worse situation. So after I set the cameras up, like I said, I might have, in the duration of time I was there, I might have had 3 wine coolers, and he was bringing the first one I drunk myself, and the second 2 or 3 glasses that I had was only half a glass, and I knew that because he was pouring it into another glass. Now, what really shook me up after the fact is this man literally could have drugged me because I was taking drinks and food from him. And it, like I said, it really shook me up because you got to be careful. Everybody does not have your best interest at heart. Everybody is not who you think they are. And the minute that you feel something is off, stop taking stuff that they're offering you. And the crazy part is, y'all, the closer I got to me getting ready to leave, like me trying to get on up out of there, my phone goes dead. It ain't like I got very many people here in Oxford anyway, but I couldn't even text nobody and be like, hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable because my phone done went dead. I should have used it as an excuse to get on down. But like I said, I hadn't got so nervous to the point where I thought the man was actually going to do something to me that I was like, let me just play it cool. So I get up to put the glass that he gave me in the kitchen. And when I walk to the kitchen, this man literally smacks me on my butt. And so at that point, I'm just like, now you done touched me for real. Let me go ahead and go. So I grab my keys and my phone, and I'm reaching for the door because he just like, oh, you finna leave? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, why don't you stay? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm finna go. You can spend the night, this, that, and the other stuff. No. I'm straight. I'm straight. I promise you I'm straight. And literally, he has one of those. He has, like I said, you know how you have the screen door, you have your door. I open the door and the screen door is there. It's a glass screen door, but he has one of those doors where you have to twist it to unlock it. And so I'm literally fidgeting with the door because at this point, I'm like, hell no, I got to go. I trying to unlock the door and I can't get the door unlocked, and at this point he has me caught in between the door and him, and this man is literally trying to grab my boob out of my shirt, and he laughing because he like, oh, you running. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, go. And I'm like, bro, unlock the door. And so he finally unlocks the door, and as I'm walking to my car, this man is on my tail, you get what I'm saying, like I get in the car and he literally trying to grab my boob out my shirt again. It messed me up. So I get in the car or whatever like that, and I'm trying to crank up the car. I'm trying to get my phone to charge. I unlock my doors and everything. I'm like going to the house to get me the spackle because we were talking about something that I needed to fix earlier, and he said that he had some spackle and I needed it. Then he goes in there and he brings me the spackle or whatever like that. And at that point, I'm like, forget the phone. It'll go, come on. When it come on, I'm leaving. So, the whole time on my way home, I'm just like, angry, like, pissed. Because I'm just like, this the same man that was just telling me that me and my ex needed to work it out. This is the same man that was just saying, you get what I'm saying? This the same man that and you know what I'm saying, y'all, you never expect something from somebody until you expect something from somebody. And out of all the times I had heard him joke, I never thought that he would be crazy or bold enough to actually touch me. But the fact that I was in his house, you know what I'm saying? I went over there in all innocence. And I realized, literally, it could have went so many ways. You get what I'm saying? Like, it could have went so many ways. And I remember I got home and I was so pissed off, and I was just like, Bruh, I wish I could remember the email address to his security camera, just so I can have proof, because I wanted proof so bad. But now I done got to the point to where it's just like, they either gonna believe you or they not, you know. And I remember I got home and I called my friend and I was telling her about what happened. And she got her boyfriend in the background and I'm on speaker, so of course he can hear what I'm saying. And I'm just going off and going off and going off. Cause I'm angry, cause I'm just like, the audacity of this man. I'm coming over here to genuinely check on you. You just lost your wife. That should be the last thing on your mind, is to try to figure out how I can get a new piece. And this ain't the piece that wants you. You know what I'm saying? Not even willingly. You was just gonna take it. And I'm telling her how frustrated I am. And her and her boyfriend start making jokes about it. Literally, bro. And they talking about, well, you know he was grieving. And he probably just... And I'm just like, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. And I feel like in that moment, I made a decision that ain't no sense in me trying to go report it. You know what I'm saying? Without even realizing it, because when I went to talk, when I was telling the lady about it the next day, because that night I was so angry, y'all. I was so angry to the point to where I couldn't even process it for real. Until I woke up the next day, got ready for work. And before I knew it, I'm telling this lady what happened, and I'm crying. But like I said, I was in his house. Y'all, I wanted so bad to be able to remember that man's email just so I could log in, so that I had evidence, so that I had proof. But like I said, when she asked me, not even realizing it, when she asked me, she was like, well, do you want to report it? And before I knew it, what came out of my mouth was, well, they just gonna say he was grieving. Because that's the same exact thing that my friend said to me the night before. Well, you know he was grieving. He was probably just a little drunk. And I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown. I was in his house. He was grieving. And I'm grown. And folks not gonna care. Even though I know he had no right to put his hands on me. Even though I know that I didn't want him to touch me like that. Because I done been touched like that before. And they did more than grab my butt and try to pull my boob out of my shirt. Not to mention, I felt like at the beginning of this week, I felt like, you know, you finally feel like you got a grasp on your life again. Everything that was happening to you is not too much just for something like this to happen. And when I say it messed me up, it messed me up. Because before I knew it, I went from replaying over, and today is just Saturday, over and over and over again in my head what happened to me Tuesday, to replay over and over and over again what happened to me in my head when I was a little girl. Something that I wasn't even really ready to deal with just yet. It was like a band-aid was snatched off. And now on top of having to bounce back from what I was already going through, trying to process that this man damn near took advantage of me to replaying over and over again in my head when people actually took advantage of me when I was younger. And that ain't no good feeling. Like I said, today, I just told my mama about what happened Tuesday yesterday. I told my mama what happened to me as a little kid today. And all I can do, I just keep zoning in and out. Because it really done messed me up. And the stuff that I wasn't ready to deal with, I ain't got no choice but to deal with. And I'm fighting every day, praying every day. That I am able to take captive my thoughts and not my thoughts taking captive of me. Every day, fighting, doubting. Just when I was trying to make sure me was straight, everything flipped upside down. I'm just grateful that the man didn't do what he wanted to do, that he didn't take advantage of me, because that would have been even harder to snap back from. And not to mention, this man is a known man around Oxford. Like I just said, he was my old boss. And I can't help but think in the back of my head the whole time, there's many conversations that I've had with this man when I was working with him. The whole time, I'm looking to him with respect. In his eyes, I'm just a piece of meat that don't even belong to him. And you would think that he would have had enough respect for my ex, because out of his mouth he said that my ex hadn't even told him what happened. So you didn't even know that we weren't together. You would think that he would have enough respect for that man not to look at me like that. That's all I have. For this video. And the same way that I did with the healing process last year, I do the same thing with this. So I'll keep you guys updated. And just as much as y'all don't want to see me get on here and cry, I don't want to get on here and cry. But life is whooping my ass. And if anything that I'm going through and that I'm dealing with can help somebody else, then why not? Why not share it? Why not? No means no. And if you find yourself in a situation that you feel is uncomfortable, do the best that you can to make sure that you get out safely. Nobody has the right to take your body from you. Nobody has the right to touch you where you don't want to be touched. And if nobody else believes your story, I believe you. Because me too. Must say